Hey guys, it's been such a long time and thank you for clicking on this video. Today I'm just going to cut my hair. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and my main thing that I want to do today is my A-line bob, which I loved. It was a lot shorter before and it's grown out quite a bit. I don't like how when A-line bobs grow out, it actually gets really long and fangy. So these tips I want to cut so that it's still A-line, but just not this drastic. So that's what we're gonna cut today. And then I still have not decided yet on if I want to crop my hair or cut it back long. So this is a really good way to just kind of get by a couple more months until you decide on what you want to do with your hair and without having to go to the hairdresser. So I hope this helps someone out. Right now I don't have any layers. I just have a one length type of grown out lob. So again, I'm gonna chop this off. And then I'm also going to just kind of soften the bulk on the bottom. All I did to prepare my hair was just, I washed it, blow dried it, and straightened it. Nothing too crazy, kind of just makes everything a little bit more easy. The tools that I'm gonna use today are just 2 clips, and I have 2 pairs of scissors and a big comb. But my scissors that I'm gonna be using is just like a standard regular hair cutting scissors, and then also these are called thinning shears. The one thing that I highly recommend if you are going to cut your hair at home is to invest in really good scissors, because that I think makes all the difference. A dull pair of scissors will make your job a lot more harder, and that's unnecessary. So just pick up a good pair of scissors.
Starting with your natural part, we're actually going to use the arch of our eyebrow as a guide. We're gonna take both points from each side of our eyebrow to create a triangle shape on top of our head. If you're wondering how far to go back on this triangle shape, you definitely can just put a comb on the top of your head, and wherever that comb starts to dip towards your face is pretty much the highest point, and that's where you want your triangle to stop. We're gonna clip this part away and just cutting the hair that's closest to our face. So you're gonna see I'm touching it right there, and we're gonna start creating our shape. I'm gonna be using a point cutting technique. This is just gonna give us a lot of softness and a nice lived in feel. This way is also very forgiving. If you do make any little mistakes, it will hide a lot of things. So I highly recommend kind of cutting into the bottom when you're taking off some length. Less is gonna be more because I still want an A-line cut. I just don't want it to be as drastic. Take your time doing this, because if you cut off too much and you totally change your shape, you might feel like you want to start cutting all of your hair, and that's gonna make this process a lot more harder than it needs to be. And I highly recommend, if you want to cut all your hair, it's just better to go to a professional. So after you check for balance, we're gonna bring down the top part of our hair, and we're pretty much gonna use the points that we just cut as a guide. Using the same technique with the point cutting, we're just gonna cut a horizontal line to just take off that steep A-line. Doing this in 2 sections really ensures a nice balance, and you're less prone to making mistakes, in my opinion. So that's why I like to split it into 2. Sorry, that beeping is my Instant Pot. Okay, and now to check for balance, again, I'm just gonna drag that triangle section down and just cut another line straight across. There shouldn't be much to cut here. It might just be a tiny bit of a point. We're gonna be doing like a texturizing method. So in other words, thinning out our hair. I like to take vertical sections up and down. And I prefer to thin out the hair with the thinning shears, working from interior to the outside. So starting from the inside and kind of working out. I typically don't like to cut any of the hair that's on the surface, just the inside. So interior layering and interior thinning out is what I prefer to do. Right now I'm doing a notching technique where you just notch pieces of hair and kind of drag it through. And then this other technique that I'm going to show you is just pretty much using your thinning shears and not closing all the way. So if you're not closing all the way, then it's not affecting the top layer. Switching over to the other side, we have a tendency to want to use our scissors from the outside in, which I highly do not recommend. You're going to see me doing it here. That's a no-no. You definitely want to still work inside out. And you want to do this quite evenly on both sides to create balance. I wouldn't want to drag my shears any higher to my roots because I prefer thinning out more from the mids to the bottom. It creates less of a damaged and frizzy look. If you over thin out your hair and you go too high, I think that sometimes it's not as flattering. But nonetheless, the layer that we just completed is very forgiving because this whole top layer will go on top of it. While working on this top layer now, you definitely want to be more mindful on not cutting through to the top layer. That really ensures that there won't be any thinning out that shows. So just don't close the shears all the way. Close it halfway, and then you're really only going to be thinning out the interior of the hair instead of the top layer. For this top part here, I'm not thinning out the parts of my hair that are closer to my face. I prefer that part to be a lot more fuller. And I actually have more hair from my ears back, which is very common. So you can see that I'm only thinning out more on the back parts of my head. I wouldn't go too crazy. I think less is always more. And if you do want a lot more thinning out, I do recommend seeing a stylist in a salon.
Every time I film and I'm home, I think that she's used to me giving her attention and holding her and whatnot, which possibly means she's not well trained. Nonetheless, she's on my bed and barking because I assume she wants some attention. Oh, let's say hi to the camera. Oh yeah. Hi. And she's back. This is my sweet little dumpling pie teddy bear. And she's a little sad because I've been filming today and haven't been paying much attention to her, but let's put it back on. Okay, so this is the results and I love it. I hope that video was very informative. She's trying to eat my hair now, sorry. Okay, it's a messy process. I've never actually cut my own hair at home. So all my hair is on the floor and there's kind of a good amount, which is surprising because it seems like a pretty minor trim, but wow, it feels so much better. I love it. And do you guys kind of get what I mean now? Like it just looks more intentional and less grown out, less fangy, and so happy with it. It feels so much better on the bottom to be light and not as heavy anymore. And this will definitely hold me through a couple more months. So thank you so much for watching and I hope that this was helpful. Please leave me any comments below and I will get back to you through YouTube. Thanks again. See you later. Bye.